This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, episode 183. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We're bringing you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. At Nicholas M. Craig is my Twitter. InfectionPodcast.com is our website. Joining me as he does each and every week from the great state of Boise City, Idaho, Brian with an I, Aldridge. Hey, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful from the best place to live in the world.
Yep. It'll be 5 years from now. It'll be
until everyone else moves here, and then I'll be trying to figure out where else I can go. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, you can go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Make sure you go to our website. We have infectionpodcast.com, where we have links to our show notes. We have a link to our Discord. It gives you an invite. You can't just search for a Discord. You have to have a link to invite you into the Discord. So on there, we have a current link. Also, our Steam group. If you want to get notifications of when this live show is about to start, you get a nice little pop-up just to remind you to jump into the Twitch chat. So we also have the link to our YouTube, our audio-only formats, so anything for podcasting, and all that has a benefit of also the show notes. So whenever we're talking on here, and maybe you say, I didn't quite hear that, or I don't understand what they're talking about, usually you can find a link to what we're referencing when we're discussing something. So during the show, you can have, if you're listening to it after the fact, you can have it open when you're listening or watching, and just kind of follow along and be able to jump to all the different websites and keep up. So,
and I do, I'll kind of piggyback on that, Brian, and say on our YouTube channel now, this is something cool that we've started doing a couple of weeks in a row now, and it's all possible thanks to our friend, our good friend Sean, who wrote me a little program here to keep track of our topics during the show. But if you go to here, for example, last week's episode of Infection, a little hard to see on video, but each topic I've done my best to timestamp, so you can skim through this and it will jump to whatever relevant part of the show that we're talking about. So you can do that, and that's on YouTube, which all the links for that stuff are on our website, which is, of course, infectionpodcast.com.
Yes.
And I do want to quickly give a couple quick shout-outs to a few folks that have subscribed to our show here on Twitch. We had our good friend Green Man Cartoons coming back for, I think he's probably been subscribed as long as we've had it open. So 6 months is probably about the time that we've had it open.
I think that is.
So I want to thank our friend Green Man for subscribing with that. His comment was, what time is current players? Very soon.
You tune back in.
Tune back in at the end of the show. And then our good friend Tag, who was giving me some fashion advice pre-show. So see, if you're missing out on the live show, which we're here live every Tuesday, right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, now being simulcast on YouTube as well, in case we get banned for breaking part of the TOS, you can chat live. And we have our good pre-show, and you can do all of that fun stuff. So thanks to our friend Tag Durante, I think that's how his name is pronounced, and so. Green Man Cartoons. Thank you, fellas. And coming up here in, it's a scary countdown, 44 days, Brian, until we are going to be out in Seattle, hanging out with our good friend Lance, our hype man, and our friend Sean will be joining us this year as well. So we're looking forward to all that. And at the end of the show, if we've got some time, which I think we will this week, we'll go over our goal again and talk about some of the different perks that we have available. We'll do that at the end of the show if time permits. If not, we'll do it at the beginning of the show next week. Let's talk
a little bit about this past week's game of the week.
Yes, I just screwed up my topic program. Damn it! I did. I literally just clicked start again, so now my times are going to be off. Damn it! There goes that for this week's episode. Fuck. The game of the week. Yes, let's talk. I'm genuinely pissed off right now. I'm really tempted to restart.
You could add a certain amount of time to each one. You could just add, figure out where we're at now, Just add that to a plus on the number at the end of the link.
That's not a bad idea. Let's start it again. See, I'm really just botching this right here. All right, we'll add 5 minutes to each topic.
Okay.
I hate myself. And speak of hating myself, Friday night we played a great game. It's known as H1Z1, and we came in. We made it very clear we were going to come into the game, and I think we did mostly with a pretty positive attitude.
Yes,
I would say for the most part we had a pretty positive attitude. It was you, Musty, Deacon, and myself. I believe that was the core group. Is that?
I think so. I
think we had that was kind of a blur. That was our core 4 that we were playing with, and went in with clear mind. The reason we were playing this, maybe you haven't tuned in a little while, they have remastered Z1. It is now called something, I don't remember the name of it, but it's Z1 remastered. It starts with an O. Outbreak is the name of the map.
Outbreak. Yep.
So we decided we were going to play that for Game of the Week, and we did. Right off the bat, right before we even got into the game, I obviously have not played H1Z1 in a little while, so opened up the game. BattleEye does its little thing. Game launches. Get into the launcher. We're good to go. No longer they don't have the Daybreak account anymore or whatever, so great. Right into the game, perfect. So I launch up the settings. And about this time, I'm in Discord talking to Brian, and I'm saying, hey, Brian, where is windowed borderless mode? And he goes, they don't have it. And at first, I thought he was just being Brian with an eye Aldridge.
But I was just being sarcastic.
Yeah, of course. We're kind of we're always joking about how H1Z1 doesn't have simple things,
basic features.
And I'm like, no, it's in here. And you kept insinuating it's not. And I mean, I know you're sorry, Brian. You and I have been doing this show for like 3 years. I know your sarcasm. And by the 4th time, you're like, Nick, it is not in the game. I was like, oh my god. Wait, hold on a second. And turns out you do, in fact, still have to edit the INI, the any file, to get windowed borderless in H1Z1 in July of 2018.
Yep.
How in the hell is this not in the game?
And I think the sarcasm that I did say is they would have to hire a programmer again to be able to put that in now. So I don't know that it's going to happen.
That is the most, in the settings. It's not like you have to change settings. There is a thing. There's a value in the INI file. It says a mode, and instead of putting windowed, you put windowed borderless.
Windowed full screen.
Windowed full screen. Yes, something like that. It's not like you have to add lines to the config. Literally, you just add a different
capability
word.
Is fully there. They've just been too lazy to go in and have a programmer actually edit the menu.
The UI element. Oh, it's UI.
You click this. Yeah, all you do is click a box, which then changes that value in the INI file, and then you have a windowed borderless mode. So
I was
pure laziness on their side.
Absolutely, and there's no excuse, and they don't deserve any type of slack to be cut on that. There is zero excuse for not having that in the game, because it is in the game. It's their INI file. Their game knows how to read window full screen, so the game is more than capable of running in that mode. It's not a hack to get it to work. You're not hacking the game to get it to work. They just do not have the UI option to change it, which I was dumbfounded by. So that was strike number 1. And from there, it just kind of devolved. Our first game took, and this is not an exaggeration, I literally was running a stopwatch on my phone. 5 full minutes from lobby to game start. And we were playing squads, NA US, or NA East is what we were playing.
Yep. Which would have been prime time about the time
8 o'clock, 8:30.
Coming into prime time.
On a Friday.
Yep.
And
so they couldn't, that's the things. It wasn't filling. We would get to where after that full 5 minutes, you'd get up to, I don't think the lobby's ever filled. It never got hit max. I think it hit the minimum start number, which is like 50-ish, right? I think it was around 50 people. That's when it would say, all right, we're going to start a match. So they were struggling to fill 50 slots during the game. And that's in 4-man. So that's only
5-man.
or sorry, 5-man. So, that's only 10 teams. So there's 10 teams in there. Let's say if everybody had a full team, that'd be 10 teams worth in each match.
Now, those are the two gripes I had with the game. Now let's switch over to some positive stuff of our playthrough on Friday, because there was positive. So once we were able to get into a game, which we did after about 5 minutes or so, I don't remember where we spawned the first time, but we instantly had some gunplay. Combat, which is always been the biggest issue with H1Z1 was...
well, that time we had spawned over like a subdivision or over some businesses.
Yeah.
And so you just pretty much go straight down. Now, I thought they had added a thing where you could pick a zone.
That's in Just Survive. When you respawn, you can select
and so that's what I was kind of expecting. And I know a lot of the other games have done that, similar games, but that was one thing that would have been nice, because that only lasted a couple of matches. And then we started getting over over that mountain that seems to be the spawn that we'd always get before. And the thing is a big group of people spawns there. And so everybody's trying to go to the only building that's maybe within reach. Or you're landing out. I mean, we landed, okay, so we did land at Humperdinck.
Humperdinck Gorge.
So we did land at Humperdinck Gorge, which is no longer the place that we knew it as. They have smoothed it out. It's like they took the smoothing tool and they just did the whole Humperdinck Gorge so that you could run over it, which I understand for a BR.
Yeah.
Humperdinck, the beauty of it was like there was only one route, to get into it and out. And so I guess in BR it would be kind of a pointless area because you have to go around it. So they smoothed it all out, which was kind of sad because that was one of our favorite places on the map. So
now, going back to some of the gunplay and some of the gameplay that we had, we did have some positive gameplay. I thought the gunplay was quite good. Musty got a couple kills with the shotgun, which is surprising because it's for years now they've been trying to tweak the shotgun. It appeared to work pretty well. He had 2 very close combat shotgun kills. I had a kill or 2. I think almost everybody in the group had a kill or 2. Throughout the couple, we didn't play many games because the time from starting a lobby to finishing a game was a pretty long process because of the start time, the sitting in the lobby waiting for the match to start. So even a quick game was 20 minutes by the time that the game started.
I do have a question for you. Maybe you can give me your opinion on this. Do you think that the reason that we didn't have any issues with the shotgun is because the matches were starting with 50 people, and so we never had the lag that the server was trying to deal with when it deals with 100 people at the beginning of a match?
We did have more than 50 people in a couple of those matches. I don't remember exactly what
generally
numbers.
It was never full. Usually the servers struggle at the 100-person mark. Okay. And then it starts to improve over time as the game starts to have people drop from the match. And it gets to where then the server can have a really good response rate, and it's actually able to keep up and not being stressed. I don't think that our servers probably were ever truly stressed, so I don't know that we really saw how it performed with a full server. That's what I'm curious of. Do you think that had anything to do with why we didn't notice any issues with weird behavior or with shotgun, shotgun not doing the proper spray or damage or whatever a shotgun used to do?
I mean, I guess it's possible.
That's just kind of my thought, is maybe there are issues with the shotgun, but we didn't see them because the issues are probably lag related.
I mean, that could be true. I don't know. We didn't experience any issues, so I'm not going to say that there is still an issue with it because we didn't experience it. So I mean, I'm not going to go that far on it.
I'm just curious. I mean, that's just one thing that seems to be, always seems to be that they were having issues with lag. Because remember, we talked to Manpons, and he said on the local matches they did that were tournament ones where they were on a local server, they never had issues with a shotgun. So it seems like it's linked to a network, the lag or something with going over the internet seems to be what the shotgun was linked to. And
that, I mean, that could be the case, but I mean, I didn't experience it, so I don't know.
Now, one thing we did still experience was, I mean, there were hackers. From what you can tell, it's hard to say because we didn't have people flying in the sky like we used to see. But I did see somebody. I had one of the last kills that before I quit. There was a guy who came up in a vehicle, and he jumped out of his moving vehicle, and while in the air and turning, he one-shot me with an AR, and I had a helmet and body armor.
Yeah, there was a couple kills, and it's been so long since we've played. I don't remember exactly how all of the damage. I don't know I don't remember what all the damage breakdown points are. So we didn't notice any blatant hacking. There was no flying around. I did get killed once, and I was like, "Damn, that guy just literally turned and shot me." But I mean, I just assumed that these people, maybe some of these people, may have been playing this game for the last 2.5 years.
That's the thing, is there's a a skill factor. It's just like it's the exact same thing when we play against, for instance, PH when we're playing CS:GO. There were people who say, "Oh, he's cheating." No, he plays it a lot, and he's able to be very accurate with the shots. To where we're running around, and we're doing a kind of spray and pray type of a match, and so there is a level to that of people who've been playing it the whole time. They will be much more accurate, but I think that there's a point where that's not true. Like, someone shouldn't be able to jump out of a vehicle, spinning in the air, and do a one shot with the helmet. I mean, it has to be an incredibly perfect shot, and it's just, you have enough of those happen during a match, those type of things, and you're like, I don't know. And I think we're harder on it because we've had so many times that it was hacking, to where everything seems like hacking when it's like that.
Yeah, and some of that stuff did seem a little crappy. So we got that. I'll just reiterate. I felt the gunplay was pretty solid.
Yep.
I think the gunplay was pretty solid. We had a decent amount of combat, which is not something we always experienced.
What did you think about the updated version of the map? Because we ran around the map a little bit. I mean, we'd had some matches where we just kind of ran around and looked at the map.
I thought it looked
like to the top 5.
I thought it looked pretty good. I was pretty impressed with the redesign of the map. Obviously, it's a remake. They fixed, it looks like a lot of maybe bottlenecks in some of the areas. I remember we spent
I think they took a lot of shortcuts in some places, and they went through and actually did it correctly. One thing we went and looked at was the parking garage.
Yep.
And one thing that we noticed was the AC units that are on the side of the buildings. Before, they were a picture, from what I remember, kind of on the side of the building. It wasn't, or it was a very small square, and they actually modeled the AC units and put them up there. So they're actually going through and getting the things that I think they just threw together really quick. Because if you go look at their files, if you go and extract their files from the original one, you can tell it seems like pictures from Google image search or something. Like the piece of bread that was the original bread, it's just like a picture taken, it looks like from a cell phone, of a piece of bread that they then wrapped around an item to make food. So
yeah, I think the Steam is having some issues right now. It's not letting me load my profile. I thought I took a picture of it. But yes, the air conditioner was like a split level AC unit attached to the outside of the building. It was a clear object. It was sticking off of the building. It was relatively high resolution, which is something that a game like 7 Days to Die that's I would think one of their biggest issues is the resolution of the things inside the game.
That's one thing. Is 7 Days to Die could go through and do an instant upgrade if they just went and upgraded their textures, like, because everything's so low quality, they could just upgrade their textures and be like, people are like, whoa. And I think they're starting to do that.
And I mean, I still have to give them a little bit of crap. I did take this screenshot of the remastered map in one of the houses that I was in. So that still existed. But you can see how the HUD lays out, how the mini map is down there in the bottom right corner. You can zoom in and out of the mini map now when you press M, so you can actually
it's much more detailed than the
much more
one.
detailed than it used to be. You no longer.
But look at it. See what I noticed though? Like, look at the side of that building, the brick.
Yeah, it's legit.
No, I mean, they actually modeled it correctly. It's not just a picture of brick.
That conduit on the outside is literally sticking off of the building. This image is pretty low resolution.
If you look at the ones before, everything was just a picture and it was on a flat object. So like even the sidings of of buildings, the siding that usually has kind of a section that goes out, it's like slats of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Before, those were more of just pictures of siding on top of a flat surface. So they went through and actually have put normals. Normals is what gives it the bump and raised look of a flat image. They went and put that on there to give it a little more realistic look.
So there's my compare and contrast of the inside. But overall, I would say we had a pretty good time. It was cool. We honestly, we spent a lot of time reminiscing on what H1Z1 used to be, which was fun. We had a good time with that. It was nice to talk to Musty and Deacon and play the game for a couple hours. We did. Overall, it wasn't a bad experience. I don't know if we do it again sometime soon. It didn't have the power that kept it. It didn't suck you in. We went out of our way to play it because of the new map, and we did, and we had a pretty. I mean, we had a pretty decent time. We had an intense gun battle at the police station in Cranberry. I mean, it was a legit gun battle. Call outs and everything. It was legit. And
so, do you think if Just Survive incorporated this map, there'd be a chance for it?
No, because Just Survive's issue is base building, raiding, inventory. I mean, there's the map was not the issue in Just Survive. I mean, you could make the map 10 times worse in Just Survive, as long as you had decent building mechanics. I think you'd be fine. But
and one thing that we were discussing is, for us, it was the community that we had built. I think we thought the game was better than it was probably for a while, just because of the community that we had. We had fun playing with the people that we were playing with, not so much that the game was great. Because if you look back now, you could look at the game and say, man, that thing was just that game's a piece of junk. But we had a good time because of the people that we were playing with.
Yeah, and I mean, this was because of, and this is what we spent a lot of the time doing on Friday night, was going through images from people's Steam profiles. Images like this was at Humperdinck Gorge, I believe. It's not actually. But this is why we had so much fun playing. All of these people had their names infected and were all playing, with us. So it was a lot of fun. And PH is referencing us raining cars. I have an image of that somewhere. Yeah, I do. And sorry, Musty. I know he's listening to the podcast, but like this, I mean, this is why. I mean, we had literally all of the cars that are in the server at our base.
I think he's talking about a cheater actually made it rain cars. Like, he had cars dropping out of the sky. They would kill. So what they would do is they would drop vehicles out of the sky above your base so that they would drop and then explode. And so they would kill people inside of bases by dropping vehicles into them. So I think that's what he was.
Either way, we were still raining cars in that. We had a lot of cars.
We had a lot of cars. We had all that. We were the trolls of the server because we had everything.
Yep. So that was H1Z1. Wasn't a bad experience. All of you listening to the show, 99% of you listening to the show own the game. I mean, you have to. So if you're looking for something to play, go ahead and hop in. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, you probably want to play with a couple more people, but you could go ahead and hop into that. You'd probably have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a 5-minute wait. I think once you get into the games, you kind of get on the death cycle of people dying off the server and filling up the next lobby. And so I think that kind of helps because the first one's probably the longest. But if you at least last about halfway through the match, the next lobby should be halfway full. So, so that if you get in there, you will get a couple games in, but it's not like it was before where you're instantly in a match and then 30 seconds later you're starting.
Yeah, definitely not. Not like a PUBG or a Fortnite.
Yep.
So that was H1Z1, and what's coming up this week, Brian?
So I was thinking we could play some. I'd be up for some Overwatch. I don't know if people. Yeah, we haven't played that for a little while, but I think Overwatch would be good. So let's go and do an Overwatch night. We'll do a polished game that's guaranteed to let us get into matches. There's going to be no crashing. I've never seen Overwatch crash. So we'll do Overwatch just so that we can play a nice and stable game for 1 week. And then maybe we'll try a more risky game again next week. All
right. Well, look forward to that Friday night, 8 p.m. in our Discord. You can find all the links, all the information over on our website, infectionpodcast.com for that. Real quick, before we get into any more news, I want to talk about something that I have actually been playing the past couple days. Thanks to our friend Lance. He had, out of the blue, texted me Sunday night, and late, probably like 10:30 or so. I was like, "Hey man, you want to play some Conan?" And I was like, should probably go to bed. But instead, I played Conan till like 3:30 in the morning. And we did. And just real quick on Conan, Brian finally got to what was not in the game the last time we played. This hurdle that a lot of people experience in the first couple days of Conan. And we raided a couple of caves. I'd say we probably went through 3 or 4 caves. Went around, found some different tribes, knocked some people out, did some things with that. We've got a whole little village set up on our private server. It was a lot of fun. Kind of walking around, killing. We got attacked by this tree-looking monster. Looked like a bull that was like made out of vines and trees. It was very weird looking. The game was a lot of fun. I mean, we were scaling mountains. This is one of the high points of one of the mountains, because this game has the best climbing mechanic that I've ever seen. I don't think nothing else comes close. This is almost as high as you can go. We're almost at a 90-degree angle up on this hill, or on this mountaintop rather. And I would just say overall, if you own Conan Exiles, you got to find somebody that can push you to play it. Because for me, that was.
And we have a private server. And how was your experience with the private server? Do you feel like you're losing out by not having like public or other plans running around, or do you think that the content in the game is enough to where that's what it's worth?
It depends. I don't have the time right now due to work to invest any significant amount of time to play Conan. So the private server experience is fine. If I was interested in investing some serious time, I would hate the private server because there's nothing. I mean, there's no PvP. There's nobody else playing on it. I mean, that's not the experience you want. So having a bigger group, if I was going to be spending more time, if I had more time to invest, probably I'd like the public server. But for what Lance and I are doing. And if
exploring and figuring out all the new stuff.
And if anybody else wants to play, if you're just kind of interested in what essentially we're just running around and killing things, just keep an eye on Discord. And we just Sunday night hopped in there, played a couple hours, had a really good time, and I was a little bummed that it was so early in the morning, and I literally had to go to sleep because I had a 2-hour drive the next morning. So I was just like, damn, like I've got to stop playing now.
So did it kind of remind you of the Ark days? I mean, because that's pretty much how we were with Ark, where it was like, we got to, you wanted to keep playing. You got up and you started playing again.
In that respect, it did, but it didn't remind it has what Ark didn't, which was any semblance of things to do NPC wise. Ark does not have NPCs
beyond taming a dinosaur or gathering resources,
which is incredibly complicated and is I'm a big fan of those mechanics in Ark. But these caves that you go into, you get near the cave, and we went into the cave. We went into a cave that was full of spiders. By the way, the spiders are creepy as hell. I hate spiders, and these things are fast, and they jump up on you real quick. You get 3 or 4 of them on you, you're screwed. Went into a cave with spiders, a cave with a set of mutants, and then we went to the what's the name of that city? The Unforgiven City, Undead City, and went in there a little bit and realized that the skeletons.
Is it the Forsaken or something?
No, it's the something city.
Something like that.
It's the main city in the map. If somebody in chat knows what it is, that'd be helpful. And we attacked a couple, the unnamed city. Yes, thank you, Jay Delore. Went in there, attacked a couple skeletons, realized that they are super hard to kill, and we didn't have the weaponry, so we killed a few, tag teaming them, and then decided, we're going to die if we stay here. So then we left, and that was our night.
Well, that's good. I got to get back. This thing is I haven't put enough time. I've run around and gathered stuff, but I've not pushed. I'm at that point where the content's all new. Like I'm right there.
You could have played.
Yeah, I had to go to bed.
And I gotta say, straight up, the only reason I played is because Lance had already Lance had all the resources, and it's exactly what I don't like doing. But since we were specifically just going to raid a couple caves, I kind of just took a sword and some resources, and that's what we went and did.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
So I think one nice thing about this is that this has more things for people, like the lore. There's people that are really into that. One thing that they've been doing on the Twitter for Conan Exiles is posting a lot of pictures and fan art and things like that. You could look at H1Z1. Do you remember really seeing fan art for H1Z1?
No, unless it was on Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, there was people giving suggestions, but there was very little fan art. People would make videos and stuff like that. But people are making images of NPCs and some of the different like gods in the game, and just really going all out to make a lot of art and really pushing kind of the story element of this game. So I think this has the survival aspects, it has the exploring, the bosses, but also I think it kind of serves that other group. I think the role-playing community would have something in here, if they're more into that. I think that this fits a lot more different areas of gaming than some of the other games that we play. Even Ark. I mean, Ark has kind of a limited set of what you do. It is fun. The building bases and taming dinosaurs and all that is fun. But if you look at it, that's the extent of what Ark is. I think this has a little bit more. So,
yeah, I mean, it's got.
PH says that's because H1Z1 is already art by itself.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
So, all right. Do you have a preference? Is there anything else you wanted to say about Conan?
Oh, okay. No. Well, I mean, there isn't. But just to wrap it up, get in the game if you own it. And it's on Humble Monthly this month, I believe.
Humble Bundle Monthly right now. So if you subscribe before the end of the month, you can get it for $12 plus a number of other games.
Yes, and that definitely worth it for $12. Even if you play it a couple times, you'll eventually come back and play. It's definitely worth $12, and you can do that. And if you are going to do that, head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com/support. Click the Humble Bundle link, then buy it. It helps us out. We'd appreciate that.
Yes. All right. So I wanted to jump in. There's a video for another game that I've been kind of teasing and talking about, and it's going to be releasing here very soon. So Happy Few. Yes. Now I did see an article of is Germany outlawed them people using the term coming soon for advertising.
I didn't hear that.
They outlawed it, so you're not allowed to say soon. And there was another term that you're not allowed to use. So Daybreak would be very sad today if they still had the ability to even say soon. So, all right. So Happy Few, they have a video here, and this kind of goes through, because one thing that's what I've been saying is they're adding a lot of story elements, and they're adding depth to the game more than just running around and kind of doing a very cut and paste feeling type of a game that it was before. So this is a video that just shows some of the lore and some of the story and quest lines that you can expect. I thought it was a really interesting video.
Are we playing the whole thing here?
Yeah, go ahead and play. It's just talking through the whole thing.
Okay, perfect. So. All right, well, here's We Happy Few. We'll comment right after this.
Rated M for mature.
Patient presented himself at the rehabilitation center, complaining that they won't stop screaming.
Well, he's awfully quiet now, isn't he?
You know how it is after they've had a good cry. They calm down for a bit.
Not to worry. We'll get you back on your joy, and you can forget that anyone was ever screaming.
You'll never be a downer again.
This treatment is a bit experimental, so we'll need to establish a baseline. I'm going to show you only the good things that come to mind about Wellington Wells. There only are good things.
Wakey, everyone.
It amazes me that downers would rather run off and starve to death in the garden district when they could simply take their joy like decent citizens and fit in and be happy.
Lovely day for it.
Strange, isn't it? What kind of lunatic wants to remember the past? You're in luck, my quiet friend. We're testing a permanent solution.
Soon you'll be frolicking in the village again. Happiness is a choice, is a choice.
And we wouldn't be Wellies without our joy, would we?
This had better work. There are more downers every day. I heard one of Miss Bing's archivists ran off into the garden district. Arthur Hastings, completely unremarkable chap, total downer.
You won't intimidate me with that.
You don't suppose he's trying to leave town? Well, I miss all the fun.
Oh, he'd probably just come back as a murderous wastrel, causing mayhem, disrupting the system. I blame that Boyle girl. Poor Dr. V hasn't been himself since she left him. Lord knows what she gets up to with her experimental chemistry business. We ought to shut her down, don't you think?
Entangled with the General? I should think not. Let's stick with treating downers. Imagine you'd gone off your joy for years, like poor old Mad Ollie Starkey.
Insulting good people in the street.
Joy to bang it!
Picking fights everywhere.
Setting everything on fire. Now, I want you to close your eyes and remember every awful thing that happened since you last took your joy.
You can't kill all of us!
Now, I happen to know where there's 3 records. If you'd go get them for me, I'd make it worth your while. You got them! I promised you something good, didn't I?
Oh dear. Look at the meters. What on earth has he been up to?
Downers do find themselves in the strangest places.
It's like one gigantic bad dream.
Quickly, the mask.
This should help. Now, just try to remember any of those awful things.
Oh, that's quite promising.
Wait! It's not working! I'm going to increase the voltage.
Dr. Faraday said we can't. Oh, damn it.
So, who else have we got today? Oh, bloody hell, he's made us late for Simon Says.
All right, so that's We Happy Few coming out August 10th, 2018. That was a pretty good video.
3 weeks.
Yeah. That was one of the, I think that's one of the best produced video. Now, this is a story game, more like a lot of other games that we talk about. So I think that may lend itself a little bit better to a 5-minute trailer than Ark or H1Z1 or even PUBG or Fortnite. So maybe that's something to do with it. I mean, that looks legit.
Yep. Well, and one thing is they really open up. They showed all of their protagonists that they have. So they have 3 different characters that I don't know if you'll be able to play as them, or if they're going to be people that you meet throughout. And because one thing, they had the girl who is good with chemistry, right? They hinted to that. And then they showed that then you had a weapon that lets you inject things into people's neck to do kind of a stealth type of, I don't know if it's kill or knockout. So there are special things that you get from each of those people. So most likely you're playing as your own person, and then you're doing quests for them and you're getting upgrades from them and things like that. But there is a lot more. I played the very original. So they referenced that original story of the editor. So the person who edits out negative news about the government. They kind of hinted to that story that everyone knew the original one as. But I think that's just now a little snippet of the whole game, and there's just a ton more that you're going to be able to do. So personally, I think this is going to be much better than what people were expecting. I think people were kind of annoyed that, like we'd hinted at before, that the story was only that original 5-10 minutes of playthrough, and then there was no story through the rest. So I think this is going to be a lot, 20 hours worth of story.
Yeah, that's what you need. And you don't necessarily have to have a massive story to have a successful game. You look at a game like Firewatch. The story is literally... I think
it's going to be closer to Firewatch. I think this is going to be a closer to Firewatch type of thing than what we've seen before. I think it's going to be a story that you play through like that.
It looks like it's got a lot more... I think there's a lot more detail. Well, not a lot more detail. There's a lot more to the story than Firewatch. I mean, 20 hours would be a much...
But there's a lot of voice acting. Like, it's taking you through the story.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about in terms of the production quality of the game.
Yeah. Because at Firewatch, you go through and it's not like you don't feel the endless, like you don't feel like you're walking around endlessly. Like some games you run around and you just feel like you're kind of wandering around and you're like, what do I do next? I never felt that with Firewatch.
Yeah.
That you're kind of being taken through the story the whole time. And then you reach the end. And it's like, oh, it's done. I think it's going to be more like that type of experience. I think will have a little more kind of questy feel to it, because they showed an example of those records. He's like, can you find me 3 records? And it shows you going around the map and finding those 3 records. So I think you'll have some more of those put through the story, but I think that those are not going to be the main thing that you do. I think those are just going to be maybe things for getting extra, whatever kind of money there is in the game, or buffs or bonuses or things throughout the game. I think that's what you're getting with those quests.
It does seem that way. And it would be cool if you can play through the story, just maybe the story takes, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 hours, and then all those side quests and stuff.
They said that it's about 20 hours worth of playing.
The question is
does that include
those things like getting the records? Because I'm not normally a fan of that stuff. Like, you can play through Fallout actually pretty quick if you just play
play the story,
the main storyline. But nobody does. Yeah. Everybody you do all the side quests and this other stuff, which is good. That's the whole point. But
with a game like that, you get kind of burnt out 3/4 of the way through, because it's like, man, I've just done some of these quests, and you almost lose track of the main story.
Yeah, that's very
so I think that's the danger. I think that hopefully they intermix it enough to where you're doing a few things to maybe get a little extra income, a little extra money, and then you're turning around and playing mostly the main story. I'd like to have the main story 3/4 and a max of it be a quarter. I feel like Far Cry is more like half at least of just other stuff. I mean, probably more than half is side quests that are incredibly repetitive. You're doing the same kind of getting this, killing these people, killing this group of people, or freeing this person. They did that a lot over and over again. So I'm hoping that they don't try to fill a bunch of time with that on this. If there's enough story, I think that's going to be the main focus. And I'd rather play through it once like that, just so I can play through the story. And then who knows, perhaps they'll have another game mode that's kind of like a survival game mode. It seems like a lot of games do that now. to where afterwards they add a survival mode. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You've already got this game, so I'm probably going to sit this one out at least on the start, since you'll be our
play
voice on it.
I'll play through it some, and then we'll see how it is, and I'll give a recommendation or no recommendation after I play it some.
New segment. Brian reads mean Steam reviews, and do you buy or do you not buy home? Do you buy or not buy game? I don't know why I said home. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're into that too. Tune into the Real Estate Podcast coming Wednesday nights. All right, so that's We Happy Few.
All right,
looking at a list of notes here. Where and what direction would you like to move?
All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Life is Feudal. They came out with their first update. So this is the Life is Feudal. The one that I originally talked about was Your Own. So Life is Feudal, Your Own. And that was one that they had released kind of as a testing and to get money up to be able to release the MMO version of Life is Feudal. And so they released, what was it, 6 months to, I mean, it's been like 6 months, I think.
6 months, yeah.
They released Life is Feudal MMO. And so they've had their first update for this. And so this is, I assume this game is really in depth. I haven't heard anything, but if this update is pretty large. So I think that they've just been working on a big update this whole time. And now they're finally releasing it. So first of all, they said United Game World. So I'm just going to go through some of the features that are in this patch. Game worlds have now been united, and you can travel freely between them. So once a week for regular players, once every 2 weeks for premium subscribers. All game worlds will be shown on the global map and divided into red, which is full PvP and destruction, green, which is 99% safe town claims and less PvP world PvP. Then regardless of which area you reside in, you can now communicate with all the other zones in global chat and trade between the worlds via trade posts. So I think this really makes the world much larger, because they have it to where there's pretty much different game modes, which I guess would be the equivalent of kind of like different servers. And so now they have it to where they're combining them all to make it just one big world. Of course, they did say you can't just go between them all the time. You can only go to the other servers once a week for regular players. I said 2 times a week or 2 times a day for a premium.
Let's talk about this real quick, because this is something that we've always kind of talked about. I've never thought about doing it this way, and I love the way that they're trying to get people to buy premium, which traveling is that you say 2 times a day?
You go 2 times a day on premium.
Wow.
Or wait, so every 2 days on premium. So once a week. So every 7 days for a regular player, every 2 days for a premium player.
So you can travel. I mean,
so if you want to go to some PvP, you can go to the PvP zone, to the PvP map, I guess, server, and go play some PvP. And then when you're done, you can go back home to your safe area. So it's kind of a unique way of doing it.
Plus, that's still over a 2 day period, though. You can't just go into PvP for 4 hours and then come back. You got to go, wait 2 days, and then come back.
Well, no, you just can't go back to there for 2 more days. You can't go back into that zone for 2 more days. Gotcha. So you can only enter the zone every 2 days if you're. And now these worlds, it seems like they're different maps too. Like they look different. It's like part of a huge world that they've broken up into zones so that people can build and have a decent amount of land and different. So if you go to this other zone, it's not like a duplicate of your existing map, which is cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
It's a whole nother world. I mean, it feels like it would be in the real world, to where if you're going to go to someone else's kingdom, like you expect it to be different. It's not a clone of your kingdom. So that was an interesting thing that they've changed. And then they said showcase your fearsome warrior skills in PvP battle arenas. So you can get prizes for winning battles and become. They have a ranking system for PvP. So they have hardcore PvP skirmishes that support up to 20 foot warriors. Mounts are prohibited in that one. And then every round lasts 12 minutes, and every player has unlimited resurrections with no skill loss. Equipment durability consumption is slower than in the main world. And the arenas are free for all, and the victory condition is the highest ranking score. So upon death, ranking points received will be lost, and at the end of the round, every player takes their place in the result table. Players who receive the top 3 prize winning places will be awarded with coins and PvP ranking points. So that's now a PvP system. They have a clergy now, so every god now has their own rating system. Players who please their gods by their activities and sacrifices through the week become Macathrids. I think it was also known as a cardinal. And the user who achieves the highest score between all of the gods can become the Pope. So you can have one person who becomes the Pope of the server. Rank up and garner power through impressing the gods of life is feudal, but be bestowed with a fitting title and become a powerful favorite of one of several gods. And it says utilize your power of an Archimancer, I think. Broadcast your message to the whole world, excommunicate guilds, and create your indulgence to pardon repentant criminals. Prepare for politics and intrigue, though, because each of your edicts must be voted for by the Macathrids. So they're creating like a huge, it's kind of like a ranking system. You could have everybody compete in this, have one guy become a pope, and then he has people under cardinals under him. And then you get to make decisions that are then voted on by those cardinals. So this is a competition that people on the servers are doing. They have new outposts that they've added to the game. They have slavery now, so no need in wasting your time on gathering resources manually. Save your time and energy by taking advantage of the new slave mechanic. Players can place up to 4 slaves per outpost. Each additional slave speeds up productivity and earnings even more production. There are a couple of ways one can get slaves. You can acquire them by controlling the slave outposts in a red world, or buying from other players, or enslaving knocked out players. This feature works only in red worlds. Now you can make the best of conquering your foes. So that's kind of an interest. You can actually enslave. I don't know how that works. If you knock out a player and then you can enslave them. So I'm not sure. That'd be interesting to see how that works as far as, is that actually them? Or is it making a character based off of them? So I don't know. And then they have guild rankings that they've added. So competition between guilds, then they'll have the top 10 guilds of the server. And then they had a number of fixes, a lot of patches and fixes to kind of fix some things in the game, since this is the first patch that they've had since the release. So I think that's most of it. They do have a guide, so I'll link to the guide on here that you can check out, and it goes through each thing of how to take advantage. So if you want to look into the slavery, you want to look into the Pope system, or the clergy system, they have a full guide that takes you through how it all works, the exact details, what you need to do, points that you win or lose for PvP, things like that. And then also they had a fix patch. So 13.5.0, they did a small patch that has fixes in it. And so you should have received that. That came out here in the last couple days. So so if you haven't played Life is Feudal, I would encourage you to try it out, because that's quite a bit of stuff they've got. But it is a time sink. So if you're looking for a game that's a time sink, this is that kind of a game.
This is unfortunate. I feel like
a lot of cool stuff, but you got to play it for hours a day.
I know. I feel like I'd really enjoy this game if I could play like a couple of hours a week. Obviously, you can't. I mean,
since you're competing against everyone in the server,
it
makes it very difficult.
Well, and I'm looking at
one of those games you have to commit.
What's that?
It's one of those games where you have to commit. Like, you have to really commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the premium things. It looks like it costs $30 a month to have premium. The premium is not too. There's a couple different premium versions, and the base version is 30 days. It gives you 1 ticket, a weapon skin, and 100 GF, or excuse me, 10,000 GF, which I assume is their currency, and it's $29. Unless there's another premium, maybe.
Let's see. I'm looking. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to see if there's anything else. So this is in another language. Yeah, I don't know. That well, I'll have to take a look at that because we got this MMO version because I own the game before. So they give you a copy of this, but then they have all the premium stuff, which I'm not really dug into a ton just because, I'm not interested in that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, premium shop. I'm pulling up to see if you have to log in. I was going to see what it would cost me to actually subscribe.
Oh, maybe.
But yeah, so I'll check it out, and then I should know here in a minute.
So this is a very interesting game to me. It's not a 10,000 girlfriends pitch. I don't think that's the currency that they're using. But this is one of these games that I would love to get into, but because of its nature, being an MMO, unless you've got, as Brian's been saying, hours and hours a day, it's not realistic.
Yeah, I'm seeing those 3 packages that you were talking about, but they come with all this other stuff too. So
now, Life is Feudal it's not a free game that you pay for, or it's not a free game and then you pay for the premium stuff. The game itself does cost $29.99. It is currently on sale actually until July 23rd. You can get it for $20, and that gives you the Pagan Starter Pack. Which I believe is the $29.
Okay, so I figured out the subscription cost.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so it's $19.99 a month.
Yep.
Or $107.94 every 6 months. So that comes out to $17.99 a month.
Huh. That's how much is WoW? WoW is close to that.
It's like what, $15 or something?
I mean, I don't know.
I think this is an MMO. So and the thing is, this is one of those time sinks. This is one of the ones where you commit to this game.
WoW is $14.99 according to Jay Delory. This is not unheard of for an MMO. This is actually not even out of the norm for an MMO. The good thing is you don't have to buy it. You can just buy the base game, and it's $20 right now. So I actually may pick this up for $20.
With a premium subscription, you get 1 random full set of armor. It's a skin. It's giving you a skin for armor. 1 random weapon skin unlock. Trading posts free storage size increase. Up to 150 cells of land for private claiming. So you can then...
That's worth a lot.
Yeah, so you can actually stake out a piece of land, and that's your land in the world. It's not instanced. You actually have that piece of land to build. You can make a farm. You can do it. It's crazy the amount of stuff you can do in this game. And then power hour once a day. So you can have an hour of boosted, leveling, boosted, whatever. And then death insurance so that you don't lose things upon death. So it's definitely a hardcore game. I don't know that I want to pay $107, $108 every 6 months. But if you play this and you're like, man, I'm really into this game, and you're putting in a couple hours a day, then I would say, okay, it's worth paying that kind of money.
I get that these games are you know what I need in my life? Maybe this will be my next project. I've got so much free time. Maybe I'll build an MMO. I need a casual MMO, and I know those words don't go together. Because
WoW's now kind of a casual MMO.
It is, but I'm not really interested in WoW. Guild Wars 2, yeah. Ross is saying, I've played Guild Wars 2, but I like this Life is Feudal style.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the realism. I like the fact that you can go and like, this is my land. I mean, that's the way Minecraft is in a way too. Everything's instance a lot of times nowadays. Well, but you're saying like in Minecraft, you could go and say, this is my area, and you could build stuff there, and like people could see it. It was there in the world. Most games now, they instance everything. There's nothing that you say, oh, that's Nick's place over there. Not in a big scale. And I think with this, I think it's pretty cool. You go across and people can build castles. You could get a guild together that builds a giant castle, and people will be like, "That's the infection castle." I mean, imagine that would be cool, but we'd have to get people playing like crazy.
Yeah. And PH saying,
imagine that community though, with the community that we talked about that we love so much about H1Z1. If you had that on a game like this, so this game would be incredible. People would love it. But you'd have, it's one of those ones where you have to dedicate, like you have to say, I'm not, if you're not married, you'd be like, I'm never getting married. You know, you're never going to have kids. You're just going to play in this game.
This is my thing. I wish that I am interested in playing an it's not that I don't like playing games that you have to commit to. I just wish I could commit time when I have it, which is kind of, I have time in batches. That's exactly what it is. I have batches of time with my current work schedule. I'll have 3 days where things are light at work, and I'll get home from work and I'll play the game for 5 hours a night. And then I may have 2 weeks where I'm pulling my hair out and not sleeping because of stuff going on at work. But a regular MMO doesn't do that. You can't play on a regular MMO for 2 weeks. I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm maybe I'm out of the loop, but that's not the vibe.
That's the thing about something like this is your base would be, you know, they have maintenance and things that they want you to do to keep these things up. And I think that's the issue. You'd almost need one that's instanced so that when you leave and come back, like everything's the same. That's the tough thing about a game like this is things aren't instant. So if people are destroying your things, or, you know, we run into the same thing with Miscreated. We can't play that casually because every time we come back, even if it's the next day, all our stuff's destroyed.
Yeah.
And so you can't play it on the weekends only because you're always starting over. So there's no point in building a base.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the issue.
I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know how I want it, but I wish there was a more casual
something that had the features like this, but it was casual friendly
and casual in terms of time commitment. That's what I mean when I'm talking about casual, not the style of the game. I'm saying casual in terms of I don't have to quit my job to play, which in a lot of MMOs. I mean, Brian, you played WoW for
years.
Would you say that you played WoW full time?
Yes.
How many hours a day were you playing WoW, and how many days a week?
Every day.
7 days a week.
7 days a week, yeah. Because we had a rating schedule, so every day for hours a day. I mean, so at the 6 months to a year in, I don't remember if it was sometime between that period, I had months worth of playing time. So that means that a majority of my day, for many days, was playing that game.
So let's hear it. Come on, how many hours a day were you playing on an average day?
I would probably play 4 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean that's a full-time job. 6 hours a day is full-time. You, in most people's situation, you can't commit 6 hours a job.
But I was single, and I would play until late at night. Like most people can't, when they get home at 5:30.
That's my
sit
point.
Down and play for 5 hours, 6 hours.
And even if you're single, I don't think you can do that. I mean, maybe you can. I sure as hell can't. I mean, I don't have 5 hours a night to play an MMO, but I may, for example, have 5 hours on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Randomly, because somebody hits me up.
That's what they've turned WoW into now. WoW used to be much more hardcore as far as you had to get certain gear, you had to do certain instances that were, you had to memorize and learn those instances, those fights. And so it took huge commitment just to even get to that level to be able to even try to get that gear. Now it's much more casual. They do have things that are still that, difficult to obtain, but they have more of a casual tier where people can get pretty good gear by just doing things on the weekends or doing like a thing an hour here and an hour there.
Yeah.
So they've added in to kind of accommodate that type of a player because they realized that not every player is like that, but they were making a game that was kind of required. Either you were so casual to where you had nothing all the time, or you were sitting there making a life of the game. And it was one of the most fun games I've ever played. I mean, I loved it, but I could never play like that again. It just doesn't, impossible. Like, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, and
it's I know people that have played up until recently. They've been doing that for 8 years, 10 years, or however long since I started playing it. Or was it 4 or 5? I'm trying to think of when I don't even remember when I started playing it, but yeah, it's been like 10 years, right? And for them, like, some of them, they didn't get married because of the game. They didn't have kids because of the game.
That's not,
because they didn't go out and meet people, that they were in that world all the time, every night. And like, their life now 10 years later, and they're like, oh, I'm tired of this game. Okay, now what? It's like 14 years later.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is I'm not interested in that. I mean, my work schedule is sometimes very sporadic. When
some people want that escape, though, like some people,
well, and I guess what I think, Brian, I think if you worked a 9 to 5, where it was a true 9 to 5, where 5 o'clock hits, you leave, and you don't think or do or work until 9 o'clock the next morning, I probably could fit in some time with that. But I mean, my situation, I know your situation when you were doing the computer business. If you got a call at 9 o'clock at night that, hey, all of our servers are down, that's what you are now spending your next 3 hours doing that. And I'm kind of in a similar boat. It doesn't happen all the time, but I would say at least once or twice a week, there's something I'm going and doing after a 5 p.m. And I'm not saying that to complain, but I'm saying that in the sense of, this is why I can't be like, oh, every night at 6 o'clock, I'm going to hop on and play this MMO for 4 hours. Because at 6 o'clock every night is not going to happen. Not realistic. So I don't know what I need. I don't think what I want exists, and I don't think it will, because I don't think it works. They need to set up, okay, here it is. I've got it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a time limit on how much you can play a week. That's what I need.
So a game that
a physical limit. Yeah, like the most you can play is like 15 hours a week. Tell me that wouldn't be a great idea.
Yeah.
That's how you don't get people playing 8 hours a day.
So imagine if the game is that you have to be the most efficient in that amount of time per week. Like,
that's my point. You have to be.
Whoever gets, but it could be a points race, or whatever that is that you're doing in the game. Like, your goal is to do the most efficiently and the best in that period of time, and that's all that counts. People could do stuff after, but it doesn't actually count towards their total to compete.
I think that'd be cool. I still wouldn't play it because I'm all talk, no action. But I mean, I don't know.
There are those who have this limit. It's called a wife. You can only play this amount of time, and between these hours.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, I need. I need. Is there an acronym for wife that we can fit into gaming? Do we have somebody come up with a quick acronym for WIFE, revolving around MMOs? But I don't know. I mean, I'm not really interested in playing World War F because that style of game doesn't interest me. The Life is Feudal style of game interests me. I'm not just looking to play an MMO. I like the style of Life is Feudal. I like it's not realistic, but I like that style more than I like WoW. The WoW doesn't interest me. I mean, I've played it before in very limited quantities, but I've played it before.
Yeah.
So that was a much longer discussion than I think we were intending it to be.
We've hit like the first 3 topics.
Yes. But it is about that time if we want to go ahead and roll into a game giveaway. And
yes.
While you do that, I'm going to quickly start some ARC news here while Brian's getting that all set up. We had just one numbered update from ARC this week, and there's something on top of that, but this is update number 281.107. This was released today, July 17th, and it addressed a couple of things. It addressed a map exploit across the game. Inside of Scorched Earth, there are 2 things here. Electric storms only affect tech weapons, turrets, saddles, and shield generators. I'm drunk I don't know. I just can't get any of these words out. They all start with S's. And then the electric storm duration bumped to 8 minutes. Doesn't say what its previous value was. General, they did a couple of things. Riot shields can now be crafted from the fabricator. Crop plots now correctly growing out of range. They added a handful of dino commands. And there is something new with Ark as well. But before we do the new thing, you want to go ahead and open up our game giveaway here?
All right, so we're going to be giving away a copy of Serial Cleaner. And this is an action indie stealth gore 2D game. It's worth about $15 right now on the store, so on the Steam marketplace. So this is it's a kind of an interesting art style. It says slip on your flares, grab your shades, and hop in your station wagon. It's time to work as a mob professional cleaner. A good cleaner never gets caught, so you have to make sure you get in, clean up, and get out without leaving a trace of evidence in this stylish, award-winning 2D action stealth game. So you're cleaning up after mobs go and do hits and things like that. They kill people, and your job is to clean it up without anybody noticing.
There's a game for everything.
Yeah.
And you can...
could be interesting. It's got very positive ratings, so people like it.
You know, I love when I'm getting text messages from our viewers asking me questions that aren't clearly watching the show, asking questions like, what is game of the week? I mean, like, you know, we just said what the game of the week was. It's Overwatch, and clearly this person isn't watching. That's why they're texting me asking me what game of the week is going to be. Probably trying to plan out their Friday night. No, I wouldn't say that. No, definitely. There's no way it's him. So going back to Ark real quick here, they're adding something new, and this is odd for them. It's an event, but it's a long event. A lot of their events are holiday events. Christmas, they have the Raptor Claus. He kind of hovers around for, call it 10 days, like maybe. Days. Yeah, week, maybe 10 days, dropping air presents or whatever he was dropping. Yeah. The Easter events, they had things during Thanksgiving. They had the turkey that would just chase you literally around the map. It would never lose aggro on you. All these little events that they do for holidays and such. But this one is interesting. This is called the Extinction Chronicles, and it's a series of drops that are adding new explorer notes, tech-themed creatures, and skins.
Yes.
And this has to do with their DLC Extinction.
So this is running all the way until November. I think the DLC, November, the release of the DLC.
Yeah, November of this year.
Yep. So they have the Extinctions Chronicles 1 that they had. So on the island, you could find it in the Overseer Arena. On Scorched Earth, it was in the Manticore Arena, and then Aberration, it was in the Rockwell Arena. And then on this number 2 on the island, it's on Far's Peak. Scorched Earth, it's in the Southeast Badlands, and then Aberration, it's found in the River Valley. So you can go and get tech eggs. So the Extinction Chronicles adds the tech eggs, which can be used as an alternative ingredient in kibbles. And then they have like corrupted helmet skin, corrupted boot skin. And then they'll be having special creatures. So adds unique colors to wild creatures like purple, black, gray, and dark blue. And then they increase the level cap by 1 every month until the release of Extinction. So every month your character can get one level up. So yeah. So that's interesting. It's a different way. They haven't done it like this before.
I don't remember anything like this before. This is a prolonged server-wide, game-wide event. Well, we're talking
like they're kind of unlocking features all the way up until that point. You know, some skins, and rather than just overnight, your character now has the ability to be max level. I think it's smart because it keeps people maybe going and even just playing some every month to keep their level up to where when this new DLC comes out, then let's say you're doing a server transfer, you're at max level, you know, that's probably the beginning of that DLC.
And this is going to be on here for little less than 5 months, but that's a long time. That's a long time, no matter which way you look at it.
Yep.
And that
all right.
I believe that's all of our ARC news. Yeah.
Yeah, they've only did that one patch this week, and I think that with them when they're getting ready to release a DLC, like they don't really do too much else. Everybody, because it's a small company, I mean, it's not a huge amount of people there, so I think everybody is focusing on the DLC and getting it out.
Let's real quick, because I know we've got some bigger topics here, but let's real quick run through the updates for Realm Royale. We talked extensively about it maybe last week, maybe the week before. I don't remember exactly. We had a long forum conversation about Realm Royale. But they've done something this week. And the first thing here is Battle Pass. They've this is a very common trend. We've seen it in both Fortnite and PUBG now, some type of pass system. And this is interesting, keeping with their trend. Their trend. They've got chickens in the game, so they're taking a prehistoric trend as well, and they're adding some dinosaur things. So you'll
as a mount?
Well, no, as a yes, and in terms of things that they're adding into the game. So the Battle Pass, the first one here it's called Primal Awakening, and this is the image that they're using for the Battle Pass. If I can pull it up, so you can kind of see that, and this fits right into their theme of what their game does with the chicken and some of the stuff like that. So
that's the nice thing is it doesn't actually affect the outcome of the game. Like it's purely cosmetic. It's just a different variation, which I think is where they're going to get people. Yep. I think it makes sense for this type of game.
What you're unlocking here is mount skins, class skins, chicken skins. So one of the chicken skins will be a dinosaur looking thing, but it's still a chicken. Skydiving effects, tiles, and more. And it's the Fortnite thing. All players will progress the free pass simply by playing, right out of Fortnite's book. Unlocking the Battle Pass costs 950 crowns and will grant access to the Battle Pass rewards as well as a season-long 50% increase on earned XP, which is quite a lot. Let's see if they go through all of the different levels and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into all the different unlocks, but there is a whole bunch of stuff here. I'll scroll through it quickly for everybody. Loading screens and all this other stuff that's all in here. This is a lot of stuff. I'm scrolling through this very quickly, and these are all of the things that are
avatars,
just a whole bunch of stuff that they're throwing in here. So it's 950 crowns. The Battle Pass XP bundle is all of the items, which is essentially all the XP. That is 2,700 crowns. I don't think you can buy crowns. I may be wrong on that. You may be able to. If I am, somebody please correct me. But I don't think you can buy crowns. Maybe you can.
I'm checking.
I don't ever remember there being a way to buy them.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything. I think you'd have to earn them. So I don't know. Oh yeah, I can't. I see people saying I can't buy crowns. If I click the icon with 1,000 crowns, nothing happens. So I think there is a place that you can buy crowns.
Huh. I wish if somebody could load up Realm Royale in the chat and see what they cost. That would be, if anybody's got it installed, that'd be very helpful. I can't. They don't advertise. They of course don't put that on their website. Relevant information like, oh, you could buy crowns. So this is their first thing. Their first attempt at a Battle Pass. This is right out of Fortnite's book as well. Now there are a couple of gameplay changes they made here, a couple significant ones. So a couple things in the match experience side. They have got survival time. Players receive 20 XP for every minute they stay alive during a match. Placement bonus. Players receive an experience bonus for placing top 3. You get 200 XP for first place, 150 for second, and 100 XP for third. Kill bonuses. Players receive an experience bonus for their first elimination and experience for each elimination thereafter. 100 XP for the first and then 20 for each elimination after that. There's a party up bonus. You receive 5% experience for playing with players in their party. So playing with a friend, you get 5% bonus on that. Deathmatch Training Grounds. The fog circle is now smaller and can be seen from the start of the match. This is their very small map where you spawn in a small area. The zone is already there, and the zone doesn't move, but all the combat is kind of forced into the center with that. It's a time-based. I think the game's only 20 minutes or something, 15 minutes. Players receive 15% XP for every minute they stay alive in the training grounds mode, that is. Same thing with the placement bonus, 200 XP for first, 150 for second, and 100 for third. Kill bonuses, players receive an experience bonus for their first elimination. This is in the training grounds mode again, 25 XP for the first kill, 5 for each one after that. And the chicken timer in that mode has been reduced to 15 seconds. Now, this is the game mode where you can respawn, and you do respawn until the game is over with. So the chicken isn't quite so relevant, but it's still in the game, and it can make a difference. And then generally, over gameplay-wise, when at max shards and a player attempts to disenchant an item, the effect no longer plays, and an error sound plays instead. The camera, and then on top of that, the camera can be spun around your player freely when you're performing an emote now. So they've got some of that stuff added into the game. And huge shout out to our friend PH, who we asked and we received. Here is the breakdown for the Realm Royale crowns. So you can buy 1,000 crowns. Yes, it is in euros. So let me quickly pull up to a quick conversion here. So it's about $12 US for 1,000 crowns, which would buy you a battle pass. So very similar to Fortnite's system. I think Fortnite is $10 per pass. I don't remember. I've purchased it. I think it was $10. So not very far off from their system.
It's 950 V-Bucks, whatever that's worth.
I think that's very similar. I think it's like $10 or something $15 to buy the Fortnite pass. This is very similar. So you can get 1,000 crowns. It costs 940 to do the pass, 970 to do the pass, and you can do that for just about $12 US. So,
cool.
I mean, literally,
this seems to be the new. I mean, it's working. What? Do you mind if are you up for showing some Fortnite videos really quick? These they always do them very short, but
we can, yeah.
I just want to make sure it was possible. So they announced their season 5. Since we're kind of in the same topic, they have their season 5, which means they have new items and some changes. So I don't know if you can play some of those videos. And
you want to start with season 5?
Start with season 5. That's the season 5 official announce.
Okay, give me a second here to get some of this stuff pulled up. And PH
and this one, they're doing some pretty big changes to the world. So,
and PH is saying pretty sure they keep it the same, so it might be $9.99 in each zone. Because that is at $11.65 is a weird amount to charge for the US. All right, so here is Fortnite, their season 5 announcement trailer. All right. I wasn't expecting the video. I was so entrenched in the video, I wasn't expecting it to end. I forgot how short it was. I don't really understand what the hell that was at the end.
So they're having Viking ship, desert outposts, and ancient statues are showing up around the map now. And they've changed the world. They've changed the map in here. So
I've got that, but I don't understand the.
And then they also have that cart. You notice there was a golf cart. So they're going to have a vehicle in there now.
I did see that.
So that'll be something new.
I guess the point I didn't understand was what exactly was the point of having the live action guy spawned into the game.
I think it's because things are being warped from the outside world into the map. So you have things from different time periods, which for them, okay, think of the reason. Here's immediately the reason I thought, okay, imagine the crazy amount of skins that they can get that will all make sense, right? It's not a stretch. They can come up with all these Viking skins, Western skins, because they showed the little Western cart, or the not the buggy, but the what are they called? Wagon.
Yeah,
wagon.
okay.
They had the Western wagon. They had the thing from Easter Island, the head. They have all these things that they're pulling from all these different time periods, so that then they can sell you skins, or they can put skins in the past for all these different periods, and it all fits in their story because they have this giant thing rift in time that's now bringing things into the world. Makes sense. Imagine the marketing possibility.
I mean, I drove right by there. I was staying less than 5 minutes from their headquarters. I was there just a couple hours ago. I was there about 5 hours ago, just right next to their headquarters. They're rolling it up there.
So this next one, if you want to do this next one, it'll kind of announce some of the different rewards. And they have 100 tiers, so 100 rewards that you can get, and that's for the battle pass, which is the 950 V-Bucks.
What's up, Fortnite community? It's your boy Mooney, here to tell you all about the Battle Pass. When you buy the pass, you'll instantly unlock 2 amazing skins. Plus, it's packed with even more rewards in the form of exclusive outfits, emotes, and new surprises. You'll receive a reward each time you level up, 100 tiers total, and over 100 rewards. Do I keep my rewards? Great question. You do. All Battle Pass rewards carry over after the season ends. The Season 5 Battle Pass is in the in-game store right now for just 950 V-Bucks. Show off your skills in style.
All right, that's pretty sick. I can fly with all your new skins. I played the wrong video, didn't I?
Yeah, you can do the other one. It's fine.
Okay.
That one doesn't matter. One was an overview, but they show the cart and things in more detail.
All right, let's show this one then. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. They are making so much freaking money off of this game, and their goddamn PR marketing team is doing such a good job with it. I mean, this isn't. We are watching. There's going to be case studies written on how successful and how much freaking money Epic made with this game.
Brought in.
This is insane to watch. They are literally every week we're showing a video like this. And people on social media, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on Twitch, they're on Facebook, are losing their minds over these new skins.
Yep.
This is insane.
And that's the thing, is there's an incredible amount of variety. Like, they're not doing the same skin. I mean, if we look at the skins that we got from H1Z1,
I mean,
it's the same pair of shorts.
I'm playing this again while we're talking.
Texture.
I mean, just look at these items. I mean, golf carts, and now there's golf club skins, basketball. Yep. There's a look at
just even the market they can get with the parachutes. I mean, that's no one's gone through and really marketed the parachutes. I mean, and each character now can look so different. You got to think 100 rewards. They're creating enough variety to where you can make your character look however you want it to look.
This should be criminal, what they're doing.
Yeah. Now there's one. I don't know if there's one more if you want to play that. That's their dev update. So they actually go into some of the storm changes and things like that, and progressive outfit update. So
All right.
that this will go more into what's actually happening behind the
All
scenes.
right, let's do this real quick.
Hey everyone, Eric here. Today we're going to be giving some development insight to the recent updates to Battle Royale. Let's dive in. Okay, so in 5.0 we made some changes to shotguns. We wanted to make them a little bit more consistent. So we updated the spread on the pellets inside the aim reticle to be consistent. That means they'll always shoot in the same dispersion. In addition, we have red dots that show which pellet has hit a target so that you can easily see if you did damage or not. Finally, we also added a short delay after firing a shotgun if you're switching to another shotgun. This is because running multiple shotguns was a little bit too advantageous, and we wanted to make sure that that was kept in line with other weapons. So we also recently made some changes to SMGs, and we're generally pretty happy with how this turned out. We were seeing, though, that the suppressed SMG was being picked over assault rifles for long-range engagements, and we wanted to make sure that it fit its role for close to medium range. So we adjusted the fall-off damage slightly so that the assault rifles still can be effective. So part of our weapon design is to make sure that each weapon is usable in different circumstances. We have strengths and weaknesses that basically encourage use in different scenarios. And as we continue to add weapons and continue to balance our weapons, we're going to evaluate those strengths and weaknesses and continue to make sure that all weapons have viable uses. In this update, we've also adjusted the storm circle behavior. In the final circles, 7, 8, and 9, the storm will center outside of the playable area and will shrink towards that location. This is to encourage dynamic and exciting gameplay for the matches that do reach that length. We've gotten a lot of feedback about Season 4 progressive outfits, and the main concern was that people didn't feel they had enough time to complete them. So with Season 5, progressive outfits will be based on experience and can be completed outside of the season, so that you can continue to complete it even after Season 5 is over. All right, everyone, before we close out, we wanted to show you the very scientific process that our audio team uses for gathering reference material. Here's a quick look at them gathering sounds for the ATK. All right, from everyone here at Epic, have a blast with Season 5. Until next time.
All right. I love that. That is literally how they record sounds. For the audio listeners, they had a sound team standing outside with a couple of probably rented golf carts, literally shaking them in the parking lot of their office in Cary, North Carolina, as they are literally shaking them back and forth. But hey, how do you think they make that sound happen? Not everything can be digitized. Not everything is so easy to make on a computer, and that's one of those things. It's easier to rent a freaking golf cart and shake it to
get all the squeaking noises.
Yeah, to get those sounds. They just much easier.
So this will be interesting. I think this will be for people that are really into it. You know, that's the thing is, the thing I can liken it to the most is how Laura enjoys playing Rocket League, because none of us are really into Fortnite so much.
Yeah.
But my wife really likes getting the different vehicle skins and she's really into that. Like, she'll play. And I think that's what they're going for, are these people that are willing to do that. They're willing to sit there and be like, oh man, I really want that unique outfit. And I think that you'll get people that month after month, they're always going to get that battle pass.
I mean, I bought it once. I never even played it. I bought it literally because I was like, oh man, I'm playing this game a lot. And I played it like 3 times after I bought the season pass, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
But hey, I think that they're definitely doing a smart thing. As you said, they figured out, how can we get money from our customers and have them be happy about it? Because nobody's something that nobody's complaining about this method, where we've looked at how they've done it with H1Z1. We've looked at all these other games to where they're just sitting there trying to squeeze every penny out of their customer,
hoodwink them.
Almost all their customers were unhappy with the system. So even with EA and all these other companies, just sitting there and trying to get $100, $200 out of every customer that they can. Here, there's a very consistent amount of payout, and you get a very consistent amount of reward based on how much you play. And I think it's definitely the new model to go for.
It absolutely is. And as the same thing that Royale is doing, you can still play the game as normal, regular, not pay a penny, and still unlock a free tier, free sets of skins. But if you're really into it, for just $10, and let's be honest here, and at this point in time, if you've just purchased the battle passes in Fortnite, you have yet to even have purchased the $60 game. And you've probably put a whole hell of a lot more time into Fortnite than a regular $60 title. If you've bought all of at this point, the fifth one is just out. So the most you could have spent is $50 on battle passes at this point.
Yep.
I mean, they've just done a hell of a job.
So one thing that they've done differently too, one of the main motivations of the cheaters is usually grinding for skins and things like that. One thing that really killed H1Z1 was the Chinese market, people trying to make money from getting skins. And so that encouraged cheating because people could go in, get high scores, buy skins, sell them, make real money. That's not an issue with this. So if people are cheating, they're cheating because they want to try to get maybe get a higher ranking, or, maybe they are trying to get their own skins, but they can't turn around and sell those skins. So I think it takes out a huge pool of the cheater base, just doing it in this method versus having something where it actually rewards cheaters. So I think that's helped this game not to turn into just a cesspit of cheaters.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd never really thought about it like that.
You got to think that rewarding before all these other games that we've looked at that have just become infested with cheaters. You got to think even PUBG, H1Z1, they've all rewarded cheaters, and it's caused a huge market of people doing that in China, especially. And the primary reason that they're doing it is not because they just want to be a cheater. It's because for them, that is a form of income. So I think that Epic looked at this problem and said, what is causing people what's the primary reason that people are cheating? And it's not just to be a jerk, because it costs them money every time an account is banned. I think they're making money from those accounts. And you take that away, what's the point of that after that? You'll still have people who cheat just because they want to cheat. But I think you take away a primary reason to do it.
Yes, you're not gaining any income from playing.
No, but if you think about the other ones, people were making money off of the skin system.
And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a great thing about capitalism is that you can do that. You can, now you throw cheating in there, maybe it's a little bit different, but you can get something in a video game and then sell it.
Well, and that's something that they had in Diablo. I remember in Diablo, they had a thing where you could sell items that you found in game for real world money. And I got like $30 off of one item. And I turned around and bought like the WoW expansion at that time with that money immediately. So, so it couldn't, but the thing is it became a problem. They had to take it out. They actually undid that, and then you no longer do it because it always is taken too far. People then are cheating or doing things because they realize if I cheat, I have that much better chance of getting this really rare item, and then I can turn around and sell it and I'll make $100. So it's worth it for me to spend $20 on cheats to get the chance at a $100 item.
That might be the case. PH also mentioning there's tons of games with no skins that still have cheaters. This is true, but a Battle Royale game I think is a little bit different. He's bringing up Just Survive. Cheating in Just Survive got you in-game items. Now, that didn't get converted to real cash.
I think the Just Survive was more for a trolley.
But my point is, if you cheat in PUBG, you're not going to cheat and steal their items, and you have them forever. In H1Z, when you cheat, you steal other ammo. Now you've got 10 chests full of AR ammo. I mean, the benefit was,
they would have cheat, like a clan would have a cheater. Like we saw these clans that most of the people in it were legitimate, and they'd have a cheater in there that was killing everybody. It became a weird situation like that. But the thing is that a game like that, they've never fixed the cheater problem. I don't know how you would expect it to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one end to a game like that when you let cheaters run rampant, and we saw the end. I mean, that's what happened.
This is true. Let's speaking of cheaters, another game that has got a cheater issue, and they're always trying to deal with that, and that's good old PUBG, who we have a whole bunch of news. I'll probably take them all the way to the end of the show.
With this.
Yeah, I think this will be a good way to go. We have 2 updates this week, which is not very common for PUBG. So let's start it off here. If I can grab my little Chiron here on the screen. There we go. All right, let's start off here with update 17.1. Now, if you remember on last week's show, 17 had come out just a couple days before last week's show. This is 17.1, which they try not to do. They try to do these big pushes once at a time. It says, hello everyone. Today we are shipping a smaller update to the test server in order to address some recent bugs. So there have been 2 issues that they're trying to resolve here with the hotfix. It was discovered that planned server optimization for Sandhawk hadn't been properly applied and was resolved in a hotfix that was pushed out on July 9th. There was also an issue preventing ping-based matchmaking in North America, which was resolved by shipping a hotfix over the weekend. This problem was exacerbated in part by a bug that set the default region to NA for all players, which caused some players to queue up for NA without realizing it. So the test server period will be open. It's got limited capability, and they go through that. So gameplay thing, they improved off-road driving performance for the pickup truck. Iron sight default zeroing for all SMGs is now 100 meters. The crossbow zeroing will always be 25 meters, even with a scope attached. So they have a couple of gameplay changes there. A couple of bug fix things. The reviving bug has been fixed. So when you're reviving a teammate, in some instances, the revive would not complete even when the time reached 0. That has been fixed. Of course, that could be very frustrating. Fixed an issue with the wrong 4x scope, the ACOG reticle that was used on the SLR. A cross-type reticle is now used instead of the Chevron one that is in there. They fixed an issue preventing you from being able to aim right away from switching over the driver's seat. So they've fixed that. They have some PGI stuff for their tournament, but I think that's about it from that update, which was again 17.1, which came out on the 11th, so last Wednesday, right after we finished last week's show. Now let's go to these are all version 1.0 updates, PUBG 1.0. Let's go to 1.0.18, and this one has got something that I saw. I think, did they release this today? This is when I saw it. Custom.
Yeah, it just came out.
So they just did this today. I saw this earlier this afternoon and was reading through this. So I'm going to open up their blog post here called Custom Matchmaking, and I'm going to read through a little bit of this. Earlier this year, we promised to make custom matches available for more players. As our first step towards fulfilling that promise, we're making custom match access available to everyone on our test servers. Our plan is to expand this test to live servers once the system is proven to be stable. When you create your own custom match, you can play PUBG your way. Customize every aspect of the game, from the circle behavior, item and vehicle type spawn rates, to loadouts and more. You can even create custom war modes and zombie mode game types, wink wink H1Z1. Then invite as many or few players as you want to join. Create private matches for friends or public games so the whole world can enjoy your creation. Remember that this is a test, so the elements might be rough, and we'll need your feedback about the system. It's easy to find. Is it easy to find and create games? How easy is it going to fill lobby? They are asking a whole bunch of questions through that. Throughout the open beta, custom game creation will be limited to 10,000 concurrent running games to ensure stable servers. Creating custom matches won't have an associated cost during this phase. However, due to the extremely large amount of resources required to allow custom games to be available to players, we may change this in the future to ensure everything runs smoothly and the system remains sustainable long term. We're open to your feedback on this system, and we'll have more details as they go forward. So here's a couple of screenshots here of, in fact, these different game modes. And first, Brian, before I show any of these screenshots, I'll ask, what are your thoughts on charging for these type of game modes? There is kind of no way around it, right?
Well, it's kind of like renting a server.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, really what you're doing is renting a server, because they're having to run these. You know, I think that they're making it simplified because they don't want people to have to think of it in that manner. But it's kind of like a premium pass in a way. It's some sort of a premium option to be able to have more of this. So I think you'll have a percentage of people, maybe communities, that are willing to do this. If they can get something like zombie mode, or if they can get something really unique in there, that's kind of the selling point, I think that people would be more likely to go for it. But I understand why they're doing it. It's something that costs them a lot of resources and costs them money in the end. But I don't know how many, to the average player, how many they're actually going to sell unless they can really get one of these modes to take off to where it's like, oh, we do it just for this mode.
Yeah, and the thing is, the server doesn't stay up all the time. It's an instant server, so the game plays through and then it quits you out. So I don't know how.
Now, so you pay that money and then you can host one. I bet.
Yeah, but that's tricky.
I wonder if you can play them without having to be subscribed or pay anything.
No, you probably have to be in the game. Well, no, you you would have a host that pays for it, but that gets a little tricky.
That's what I'm saying.
if
you'll probably have people who pay and then just keep games open all the time.
Yeah, possibly. But my point is, if I pay for the pass and all of us play, what if I'm not around for a week and if people want to play? Somebody else has to be kind of dealing with it. So I don't know. Maybe they make a clan system where, one person in the group has to pay for the server, and as long as that person is in your, I don't know how they could do it, but going through a couple of the screenshots here, you can literally change everything. You can make how many players per team, perspective, region, all this other stuff. It's in here, map, players, how many team members, zombie mode, regular mode, weather. You can do all this stuff. And I think they did say they were going to do this, so I'm not amazed that it's happening, because they did say they were going to do this. They have been talking about it for a while, but I'm excited that it's actually in the game now.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, because I've pushed this a lot, give people a playground, because that's how he started. He started with a mod, which kind of let you do whatever you wanted to do. And I think if they can kind of open this up to where people can make their own custom game modes, that's one thing that Far Cry does well in this new one.
Yeah.
Is they let you make maps and people can play them and do all these different things. So I think that people really like that idea and would like to do it, but it has to be something that works really well. It has to be done in the proper way. So only time will tell. After this is released, is it buggy? Does it work all the time? I'm not going to say this is going to be the perfect game mode, because I think we've been doing this too long. That doesn't work.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times. So going back to, this is all encompassed in this update, update number 18 for version 1.0 of the game. And a couple of other things on top of this as well, including a new gun. And this is a Sandhawk exclusive gun. It's a DMR, and it's called the QBU. And they've got a short little video here that we'll play and then discuss.
The QBU is a bullpup designated marksman rifle, DMR for short, that uses 5.56 rounds, with its standard magazine holding 10 rounds, or 20 with an attached extended mag. Once this gun is released, the Mini 14 will no longer spawn in Sanhok, and the QBU will spawn in its place. The recoil and ballistics are identical to the Mini 14, although the QBU is slightly higher bullet damage. It also has one distinct advantage over other non-crate DMRs. It has significantly reduced recoil when prone, due to its already attached bipod. However, it does not come with slots for grip or stock attachments. The QBU's per bullet damage is lower than most DMRs, but what it lacks in damage, it makes up for with the highest initial bullet speed of all DMRs. This makes it an ideal choice for engaging targets at medium to long range. When shooting from a standing position, there is substantial recoil and sway to contend with, especially when firing rapidly. Remember to go prone when possible, taking advantage of the bipod to significantly reduce recoil. The weapon sway, combined with heavy recoil when firing shots in quick succession, can make landing multiple hits on your target challenging. So take it slow and aim carefully.
So that's clearly some Fortnite inspiration in terms of videos for that, because we had that, which is the new weapon, and we've also got a new vehicle as well. And we'll play this. Didn't mute my microphone there. All right, so we've got a new truck in the game as well, the Rooney. Rooney. And it's a two-door pickup truck, kind of like a Ford Ranger, I guess, or a Toyota Tacoma, I guess, pickup truck wise. And two new map-specific things. One is a gun, one is a vehicle, which I think.
The one thing is that they said this 4-passenger vehicle excels at moving across Sandhawk's hilly landscape. So they're creating a vehicle that does better in that particular landscape, which I think is smart. And this vehicle, or these weapons, I mean, they had a special weapon. They had the shotgun and the special weapons for the desert map. Now they have some special weapons that are for. It looks like they're coming up with unique weapons for each map, so you have a little bit different experience between each one. It's not just a reskinned version of the exact same thing over and over again. So I think they're trying to create that variety that we've been talking about, that they need to create, so that you don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, just a little bit different look.
Yeah,
so that'll be with those custom modes. I would assume in a mode you'll be able to, if you get a custom match, pick what weapons you want to do. You could do all kinds of crazy things. So I think if you create a lot of variety, it'll just make that custom match mode even more popular.
Yep. There's a couple. There's obviously the normal mode, the BR, the zombie mode plays either human or a zombie. Only one faction can win. A war mode, which is a team deathmatch with respawns, and then their esports mode, which follows their PGI things. Yeah, their tournament rules, and then there's a whole bunch of other things that you can and can't do in terms of changing things. So,
so one thing they've added, I was going to say here, if right now for the Prime, Twitch Prime, so if you're watching right now instead of Twitch, you can go to the top, that little crown, and you can claim they have a Deadmau5 skin that you can get, and it's part of the Twitch Prime loot page. So if you click that, there's a t-shirt, sporty jacket, blazer, jeans, black and blue jeans.
These fit the style of the game. None of these are crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they could have gone. Yeah, they could have added the Deadmau5 head.
They didn't add the giant head on there. So I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I mean, these are good skins.
Tempted.
Oh, of course, it's very tempting.
But then you got to think that, I mean, that would be going right. That would immediately saying, we're kind of giving into the whole Fortnite thing, because that's what Fortnite has, those bear heads and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it would match. I know they would probably love to do it, but they got to be
place for each.
Back. Yep. And then they have invitational skins. So they have a list of those, which still, they do have a skull mask, but it's kind of like the, that black and white one that they had before, but it's more gold. And this is their invitational skins. So those will be things. They have a page here where talks about how you can get those. They have the golden frying pan, a mask, and then a number of different skins, which still nothing is too crazy.
Yeah, none of this is crazy at all. This all fits. I think this all fits within the line. All fits within the line. We've got to give them. They have been very good with keeping this stuff in check. They really have. We've got to give them credit where credit is due. They've done it because it would be so easy to throw to throw this other crap in that Fortnite has. And it's not crap in Fortnite. It fits Fortnite, but it would be crap in PUBG. That's the difference there.
One thing I was going to mention here is a week ago they came out with a discussion on that 17.1 update, and they said that they're prioritizing performance, anti-cheat, and bugs now.
Well, it's about time.
This has been my biggest complaint of why I don't enjoy playing it, is because the performance is bad. There's cheaters that you run into on a regular basis, and just silly bugs that should have been ironed out, movement bugs, and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So they said, we agree with the criticisms of the game that many of you have made recently, including comments that our efforts need to be more efficient and that the game still needs more improvement. So they're going to be putting a focus on server performance, client side performance, anti-cheat, and bugs. It says they still adds that it plans to continue shipping new content. Of course, they're going to keep putting out those things, but they need to, they're going to make that their priority, which I think it comes down to Fortnite, comes down to competition. If you look at what Fortnite's doing, do you hear about game breaking bugs in Fortnite? I don't hear about crazy, stupid bugs. I don't hear about cheaters constantly. When they release content, when they release skins, everything works perfectly. And I think they've set that bar. I think these other guys are saying, well, all right, we have to figure out how we get performance like Fortnite. We have to figure out how we can get stability and everything to work how it's supposed to as released. Because all these games, for the most part, all these games up to this point have failed in that.
It's because it's not sexy to do optimization or to fix issues. It's always, you gotta be doing the next thing. You gotta be doing the next thing, the next skin, the next this, the next that. And then you lose track of the useful things like, making sure the game can freaking run on a $1,100 computer at a decent frame rate.
Yep.
That's not their fault. That's how, it is, but it isn't. I mean, this is being driven because if they don't do an update for a week, it's, oh God, what are these people doing? Dead game, dead game. I mean, so it's like, it's a total catch-22.
Yep. And the thing is, I remember when we said in H1Z1, I would rather not see another feature, another skin. I'd like to see you guys deal with the cheaters.
We actually meant that these people don't.
Yeah. And that never happened. So,
yes, sir.
So let's go. We're pretty much out of time.
Yes,
so I'm just going to mention some of the things that we didn't cover. Hurt World had an update this week. Also the Black Death. There was an update that I keep putting it on the back burner. We'll get to it one of these times. The pandemic update. I want to cover it. They did a hot fix as well. Miscreated came out with an update, but we'll go more in depth with that next week. Update number 61. Unturned came out with an update. Blackweight came out with a 3.2 update. Pretty big update, which we could have spent some time on. We'll get to that next week. Elite Dangerous came out with a small update. One thing I was going to mention is PH got me a beta or a alpha pretest of Fear of Wolves or Fear the Wolves.
Ooh.
And this is a new game that's a battle royale game. And so I don't know. There's a trailer. Do you want to go?
How long is it?
Take a minute. How long is it? Let's see. It is 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
I mean, we can as long as your timing is fine.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay,
we'll just do this because I want to say our experience really quick.
So let me just keep that. So this is Fear the Wolves.
Fear the Wolves, and this is something that's been the early access has been delayed a few weeks. It was supposed to come out in the next couple of days, as far as being opened up to early access for people to be able to get. I think that they've figured out that they have performance issues and some things that they need to fix first. One thing is the doc. Dr. Disrespect played it, and I think that kind of probably put some negative attention on it because people realized it wasn't optimized. So I think that they're most likely going to be taking a couple of weeks to fix some things before people get their hands on it.
All right, let's do it. Well, that was some serious badassery right there.
Yeah, so this is the one thing you'll notice that's different about this is at the end, you notice he was going for a helicopter. It's the first person to escape out of the helicopter. So it doesn't come down to the last man. And I wasn't quite expecting that. And so I was at the very end, and then the helicopter started working my way to the helicopter, and it says, oh, somebody's, is hoisting themselves up. You got to try to kill them before they get up. And I couldn't quite get there in time. So I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was the whole point.
That's cool.
When I was playing it. But they have radiation zones that will do a lot of damage to you. Then wolves that roam around the map that will do some damage to you that you need to shoot quickly. And I probably noticed a little bit more of a performance issue because I was playing on the EU servers with PH.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of lag. It maybe have been, if I was playing on a US server, it may have been not as bad. But they said that, they are delaying it a couple weeks because they said they got some feedback from players in the closed beta. And so they're wanting to make those changes before they open it up. So we'll cover it a little bit more. Let's see. I don't know if it'll still give me access with this key here a little bit later, but we'll keep our eye on it. It was a fun game, but the performance definitely caused some issues.
I bet
with it. So,
all right. Well, thank you for that, Brian. I'm always looking forward to hearing new stuff, and thanks to PH for keeping us in mind when getting access to stuff like that. And if you know of a game, if you have access to a game or whatever, and you think it might be relevant, ping either Brian or myself. And if you've got an extra key or whatever, we'll be more than happy to give it a try. So don't be hesitant to do anything like that. All right. With that, let's move into everybody's favorite segment on the program. That is current players. Well, who is playing H1Z1? We were playing it last Friday night. We aren't right now, but we're in this 7-day peak. Currently playing H1Z1, 3,485, a 24-hour peak, 7,391, with your 7-day peak, 10,769. Not so hot for the map being out about 2 weeks, but we'll see what goes on with those numbers. Moving on to Ark, Survival Evolved, still a solid player base, 42,450 currently playing it, your 24-hour peak, 59,352, with a 7-day peak of 70,233. Conan Exiles still holding in a player base, 10,406 currently playing, 14,143 is your 24-hour peak, with 18,705 being your 7-day peak. All right, moving on. Player Unknowns, Battlegrounds, currently playing 182,493, The 24-hour peak, 1,284,166, with a 70 peak of 1,335,704. And that is current players, and that's who's all playing all these games that we like to talk about on the show.
Still a lot of people playing PUBG. I think it's a lot of Asia playing PUBG, but there's a lot of people playing.
There's still a lot of people playing, and the Conan too. 10,000 still a solid number to be pulling.
Yep, and those are probably people that play a decent amount of time per day.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it.
So. All right, so let's go and roll into tip of the week. Tip of the week's where I either give a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. This week, because we played it this past week, H1Z1 will be the game. So this is tip of the week. All right, so I thought I would remind everyone of probably one of our favorite tips of the week that we had in the past, and that is how to enable borderless window mode in H1Z1.
Rehash.
So, well, I heard that Musty actually has this video saved so that he remembers how to do it. And so this, for people that are playing H1Z1, it does remove these settings with updates. So you probably don't, even if you had it a while ago, as Nick found, it did not save those settings. It redoes that in any file every once in a while. So to re-enable it, you need to go to your Steam library and then find H1Z1 in that list of games. Right-click on H1Z1, and then it will bring up the option to click Properties. If you click Properties, you'll have a menu comes up that lets you click a tab called Local Files, and then click Browse Local Files. And then on there, you'll see a file called useroptions.ini, and on that, right click it. You can hit edit, open it somehow in Notepad, and then you should see in there some pre-existing settings. One of those will be the mode, which currently should be set to full screen. You'll want to change that to be windowed full screen. So windowed full screen, all one word. You can do capitalized W and F. I'm not sure it cares about capitalization, but that windowed full screen would be the word to put. So to put mode equals window full screen. And then you should see another option that says full screen mode equals, and currently should say full screen. So on that, change that to windowed, and it's windowed, all just one word, capital W, and hit save on that, restart H1Z1, and then it should open up in windowed full screen mode, so you can easily bring your mouse out of the game and not have to do a full alt tab to get back and forth. So
I've got a recommendation for you, Brian.
Yes.
How about you do this last week so that I knew going into the game what I was going to do? Because guess what? By the next time we play H1Z1, I'm not going to know what the game. I've already uninstalled the game, so I'm going to have to redo it again. I mean, you're really dropping the ball. That's why I put the lower third up there. I mean, it's just a fact. Right? Fake news Aldridge over here. Fake news with an I.
Real news, it's late news. Yeah. Late news is not fake news.
I have no idea. Who knows? So. All right. Well, yes. All joking aside, that is a serious tip, because as Ross is pointing out, there is no freaking way that there's still. We said at the beginning of the show, there is no graphic option for that.
Yeah.
So
it's silly.
It's stupid. It's beyond
so
stupid.
if you haven't done that, if you're going to go and play it again, maybe try it, because we did suggest go check out the new map. If you're going to do that before you launch it, go change that setting, because it makes it a lot easier to continue, because all tabbing out of your program, sometimes it causes crashes and all kinds of weird things in H1Z1. So it's nicer when you can do it in the full screen windowed and actually move your mouse out to go check browsers, or maybe type something in Discord.
I don't know. Wait, with the 5 minutes you're sitting in the lobby, maybe you can do something on your computer.
Yeah, you don't want to sit there in Windows the whole time staring at that screen. So for sure.
Alrighty.
All right. So are we ready for the game giveaway here?
Yes, sirree.
All right. Get the correct window. All right. So congratulations.
Our good friend.
We'll give it to Nissan this time. Yeah. Who you hung out with this weekend. So.
I did. I was just there a couple hours ago. I had to dart out of there and head back on down here to do the show. Our good friend Nissan Communications.
Congratulations. So I'll send you a message on Skype. So that's the best way to get hold of him.
Old school. You can send him a letter in the mail.
I'll send him a mail.
Well, you could mail it to him. He'll get it in 3 to 5 business days. It'll be good fun. Good fun was had by all.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? We'll be doing Overwatch for Game of the Week, so make sure you've launched the Blizzard launcher. It is up and running. Resist the temptation to install WoW and make sure your Overwatch is updated.
I've been texting with our friend Lance during the show. There is a possibility that late Friday night, like 10, like maybe like 11 or midnight, we'll be playing some Conan Exiles. So I mean,
Yes.
this is just a totally speculative thing at this point. Well, it's not speculative. It's kind of what we're thinking. So we may be doing that.
So post Game of the Week. So post Game of the Week,
which I might not be around for, but I should be
Conan.
back. Hopefully I'll be back by midnight. So maybe we'll do some of that a little bit later on.
Some late night Conan.
Yeah, liquor and late night Conan, I believe, is the text message I received. So if you're looking, if you haven't played Conan yet, but you've got it, download it, and we'll play either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. One of those nights we'll play. So
yeah,
hopefully you can join us for that.
Very good.
All right.
All right. So if you want to find me on the internet, at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, you can go check out my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, go to our website first. And on there's a contact form if you want to send Nick and I a message, or you can go to our Discord. So if you want to join our Discord, click the link that says join Discord server. And you can post, first of all, news. If you want to post news throughout the week that we can cover during the show, we have a special channel for that. People play games throughout the week. So jump in there and we have interesting and fun discussions all week long. Also on there, we have a link to our YouTube, our Twitch, our Steam group, if you want notifications before the live show starts, and all the different links for different ways to listen to our audio only formats. So hopefully if you want to support the show, just jump into one of those things and maybe give us a rating on something. That would always help us out. And of course, keep us in mind with your Twitch Prime subscriptions as well. Thank you for the people that give to those. And then those help us out, help pay for some of the expenses of going to PAX.
Yes, and I promise, Brian, you've got to hold me to this. Put it in the notes for next week, if you remember.
Okay.
I will go through our whole donation goal for on next week's show, and we'll start kicking it up into full gear. But I do want to thank our friend Green Man Cartoons and Tag Durante for both resubscribing right before today's program. So thank you, Tag. Thank you, Green Man. We appreciate your support. And it's making our trip out to Seattle possible, coming up here in 45 days. We'll be we got planning. We got some planning to do. We got to probably pay the second half of that Airbnb too. We got some things we got to get done. But we're going out there. It's going to be a hell of a time. If you're going out there, if you know somebody out there that we need to be up with, maybe it's a person or a game, a group of developers, whatever. Maybe it's something like they have a whole bunch of side events that aren't even at PAX, but are still happening. If you've come across something like that, please hit us up. Don't assume we know. There's a lot of stuff going on with PAX. Never assume that we know some of this stuff because we received 3 different emails from the same person, woke me up this morning because this developer sent 2 different sets of emails out about how our game is coming out. Our game is coming out. We got 6 emails of that, 1 to each of us. And then 45 minutes later sent out, disregard the previous email. The game is not coming out. I mean, so just don't assume that we've seen everything because we get all these damn emails in our inbox.
Yeah, as we approach PAX, we're going to get tons and tons a day. So I usually try to filter through them and figure out what we may want to hit, but we'll come across a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So thanks to Green Man and Tag. Thanks to everybody else that's made the trip possible, and we'll make the trip possible. And we'll I promise we'll talk about that next week. I promise we'll get to that. All right. Well, thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate all your help with the show notes and everything. I got back today a little bit late, but have no fear. Brian Aldridge is here getting me all up with the show notes. So Brian, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. That's kind of our deal that Brian and I have here. Brian does the pre-show prep stuff, and then I handle all the post-production stuff. And I mean, 3 years, I think it's a pretty fair relationship, right?
Yep.
Works out.
Yeah.
That's great. I just love it.
Matt and Nick's, I'm like, Nick's not pulling his weight
here. Yeah. Well, if I wasn't pulling my weight, the show wouldn't be on. I mean, if I wasn't doing my part, there's no show. So, I mean, it's got to be a little. It's what we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us again. We're live here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv /Infection Podcast. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, visit our website, infectionpodcast.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time.